We'll be going back to politics. So we've been able to reconnect with Monday Mawa, the lawyer and member of a Labour Party, to speak on Labour Party politics and also how the court has reinstated Abure as Labour Party national chairman. Thank you for reconnecting with us, Monday.
Thank you. I'm sorry for the disconnection.
It's not your fault. All right. So before, sorry.
I said Nigerian network.
All right. So before we went on the break, I was asking about the factions that we can see within the Labour Party, and we would love for you to help us understand, what this faction is all about, and who are the leaders of which factions.
Well, first and foremost, I think we need to take ourselves back to how many factions we have today in Labour Party. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there should be up to 5 or more. Now, first, the Alhaji Lamidi Apapa broke out of the original Labour Party, and that was where the issue of this factionalization started. And by that, we're having just 2 factions. And again, if you can cast your mind back to sometime last year, around 5th of April, Julius Abure and 3 other principal members of the national body were restrained by the order of the FCT High Court. And as a result of that restraining order, the Apapa faction emerged. And also, don't forget, what led to the case in the FCT High Court was as a result of the suspension of Abure from his ward. And so, as a result of that, Apapa came in as an acting national chairman, because as at the point Abure was restrained, Apapa was the deputy national chairman of the party. So we had to fashion as at that particular point in time. Now, going forward, not too long from that, one Mr. Kalitu Sokafo rose up and also said that as at the time the national chairman of Labour Party, Alhaji Abdul Karim, died in 2020, that he was the deputy national chairman of the party. And by Article 14th of 2B of the Labour Party Constitution, in the absence of the national chairman, the deputy national chairman takes over. That's so, after the death of the former national chairman, that he is the person that ought to become the national chairman, and not even Abure, who was, as at that point, was the national secretary of the party. So that gave rise to another faction, making 3 factions. That continued for a while, and then NLC, Nigerian Labour Congress, came up one day and said they are not going to recognize any of them. They set up what they call the National Transition Committee or something like that, headed by the former NLC president. That continued until suddenly again we had that the former presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, and the governor of Abia State, Alex Oti, called for stakeholder meeting, and from that stakeholder meeting, another transition committee, Ketka committee, also emerged. I think I've named almost 5 factions so far. And then don't forget, Abure rushed to, before those 2 factions came up, Abure went to Nnewi and held a convention. And everybody said they were not going to recognize the convention on the ground that Peter Obi was never part of the convention, that INEC did not participate in the convention.
But the court recognizes the convention. And, you talked about 5 factions. That's quite a lot, factions for just one party. Now, can you speak to us on, the court ruling and, in favor of Abure as a party chairman?
Well, thank you. I think before that court ruling, some of us we earlier argued that in view of the fact that Abure had already held convention, whether legally or illegally, that convention in the eye of the law will still remain until set aside by court. But some other person like the other fashion, the Peter Obi fashion, had argued that INEC did not participate in the fashion. And some of us told them that INEC participation in any convention of the party does not give validity to it. What the Constitution, Electoral Act, I think section 82 says that the party must invite INEC, give notice of 21 days to INEC for them to carry out any of their meeting. And so once party has complied with that, it now becomes the discretion of INEC either to attend or not. So whether INEC decide to attend or not does not in any way remove the validity from the any of the meeting held by the party. So some person argue that it was not valid since INEC said they did not attend. But thank God the court that day came up to say, well, whether your position as INEC in any party meeting is only participatory and it is not a compulsory thing. So once you have been informed by the party, you're not attending it, it's of no moment. And the court went ahead to say the convention is valid. Unfortunately, because I'm not in support of Abure, but that is the position of the law, and the court, to my mind, is correct in that position of interpretation.
Okay, now you talked about allegations that the INEC did not attend the convention, but do you think that the INEC would issue a response to this, or maybe counter any litigation as expected?
Well, normally what I expect is that INEC should comply with that positive order of court, because INEC has no business in what happened in Labour Party. They are supposed to be an unbiased umpire. So I do not expect INEC to appeal. But I will not be surprised to see in the coming week that INEC have decided to rush to court of appeal for whatever reason. But if I should advise INEC, they are not party in this suit. They are not members of Labour. INEC is not a member of Labour Party. They have no peculiar interest in Labour Party other than the interest of just being an umpire. So if the court has decided to say Abure convention is valid, which I am even sad about, it becomes lawful. INEC only duty now is to recognize Abure until probably maybe we decide to come up with any kind of political solution, because the issue in Labour Party today, to me, if you ask me, the only solution is political solution and nothing else.
Okay. Now, just before we let you go, the party had earlier constituted a 29-member caretaker committee with former Finance Minister, Senator Esther Nenadi Usman, as chair. Now, do you expect a reaction from them to this ruling and even a possible compliance to the ruling?
Yes. What I advise them to do now is they have to comply with that order of court now. Because the law is that an order of a court remains valid until set aside by a court of competent jurisdiction. So if we must set a good example before Nigeria, we must, as a party, obey that order of court, and then we have a right to climb upstairs to test the judgment of the Federal High Court before the Court of Appeal. But pending to when any other decision is taken contrarily, every member of the party, no matter how highly placed, we must learn to comply with that order of the court and submit ourselves, unfortunately, to the leadership of Julius Abure.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Monday, for taking time out today and also speaking to us on this.
Thank you for having me.